Hi everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the fifth day of base SAS session. We are going to cover today the keep and drop variable statement. Then we'll be covering labels. And after that, if time permits, we'll be covering formats. So just to let you know that in our previous call, in our previous session, we covered a lot of statements to subset and read data sets, how to create data sets, and we use set statement and copy proc. I told in the last session that we'll be covering label and formats, but due to the time constraint, we were not able to cover them in third and fourth chapter. So we'll be doing label and formats today. But before that, I would like to tell you that how to use keep and drop variables. Before I tell you that how to use them, it's very necessary to tell you that what exactly these things are, right? So keep and drop variables and where we use it. So it's really important to know that where to use these keep and drop variable. So let's move to the slide. It says that drop statement specifies the name of variable to omit from output dataset, right? So before I read anything here, let me show you that what and how we use variables. Okay, so don't get confused with the term variable. Variable is nothing but the variable which we call columns in SAS, or basically the columns which we call variable in SAS. So you must remember what I have keep telling, that the term which we use column in other databases or in other systems, here we use variable for them, right? We call variable, and for rows in other systems we call them here observation. All right, so I'm talking about the variable, it means the columns in SAS. Now let me show you some example first so that I can connect with the topic which we are going to cover today, and it would be really it would be helpful for you to understand that what exactly I'm talking about. So let me just show you a proc print. I'll be writing data, and let me see that whether I have my data sets which I created yesterday in SAS Satya library. Yes, I have a lot of data sets here. So I will mention Satya dot, and then I will say, let us say subset 3. Okay. So subset 3 semicolon, and then I will run. So as of now, like I'm going to run this statement, you can see that I will be getting all the variables available in my dataset. So subset 3, I guess, which we created out of OR sales from SAS help library, and we had a lot of variables or columns in this data sets. So as soon as I have run this, I have got all the variables from the data set, whether it is year, quarter, product line, uh, product group, quantity, product category, then profit, and then total retail price. So we have got all the variables here. But if in case, like just a question, let us suppose I don't want to see all the columns here. I don't want to see all the variables here. You want to see only some of the variables, some of the columns. Let us see you just want to see, the product group and the quantity, just two variables. What will you do? It's a very good question, and basically we are going to use var keyword here. Okay, so let us see that how I am going to use var keyword. So I'll go here into the SAS window, okay, and into the editor window. Now at the place of running or submitting the whole statement, I will submit var, and then I will give name of the column. So let us say product underscore group and quantity, right? So I have mentioned the name of two variables and I will terminate my statement. So product group is the first column and another would be quantity. So I'm going to submit these statements and we will see that what. So you can see that I have got only two variables now in the output. First one is product group and another is quantity, right? If you want, we can add a third column as well, but I don't remember that how many columns were there. Let me scroll back to the previous results. So we have let's say profit. Okay, I'm going to add profit in my list. I have added now three variables and I'll run it. So you can see I've got three variables in output. First is product group, second is quantity, and third is profit, right? So this is the way how we have been using var keyword. Var is nothing but variable, that how many columns you want to see, right? So in similar way, in the same way, we can like while creating a data set we can use this var keyword. So let's say I told you that how to create data sets. So first of all you need to write data, then the library reference, and then the name of your output data set. So let's say I will give it as let's say sub underscore, I will say, let's say sales. Okay, this is let's say subset 4. Okay, this is the name which I have given to the output data set. Now set and then the input data set which I am going to take. So I'll be taking input data set as the same SAS help dot or sales. Okay, and now I will use this statement. So it means it's gonna create okay, let me run this and I'll be getting some error as the var is highlighted in red. So how to overcome this challenge which I really want to do but SAS is not permitting me to do? Okay, you can go back to the log window and you will see, first of all you will get that statement is not valid or it is used out of proper order, means something is wrong into this statement here. So you might got have a gist that what exactly I wanted to do, right? I wanted to pass only three variables into the subset 4 dataset, right? If you read the log in a proper way, it would say that SAS dataset Satya 4 may be incomplete. When this step was stopped was 0 observation and 8 variables. So if you'll go back to the library Satya, I have got this dataset being created, but if I click on it, you will get error or a pop-up. So it's opening. So I have got this message here that dataset has 0 observation, but it will tell you the 8 variables which we got into the log window as well. So that's pretty clear. But the thing which I really wanted to do by writing that code, that I wanted only 3 variables to go into this data set. So now how to do that? This is what we are going to cover in today's topic, that is keep and drop. Okay, so how we are going to use that and what is the meaning of keep and drop keywords into the statement? Let's now read into the slide. Okay, so drop statement specifies the name of variables to omit from the output dataset. Okay, so drop and then variable list. Variable list contains the variable you want to exclude separated by blanks. And keep statement specifies the name of variables you want to write to output dataset. And keep variable list. Variable list contains the variable you want to include separated by blanks. So it's pretty easy and it's as easy as it sounds. Drop if you want to exclude, keep if you want to include into the output data set, right? Drop if you want to exclude variables separated by blanks, keep which you want to include into the output data set, right? Further, I'll be talking about that we can use these keywords with both input and output. But if we are using it with input, if we are using it with output data set, then it will have exact meaning as we are reading right now, that if you are using drop with output data set, it means you are excluding. If you are using keep with output data set, it means you are including. But opposite thing happens when you use the same keyword with input data set. So for example, if you are using drop, okay, if you are using drop columns with input data set, so it's gonna drop those variables and include rest of them, and keep will include those columns. So again, I mean, it is the same thing. It is just one of the smaller confusion, that whether we use with input or output, it's gonna do the same thing, right? But it would be very clear once we will take some examples, right? So let's move to the next slide. It says that example, let's consider an input data set with the following variables. It says year, movie name, hero, heroine, villain, genre, and box office. If you use the following code, the drop your movie name, hero, drop year, movie name, hero, heroine, and then output dataset will have the following variables: villain, genre, box office. If you use the following code, keep, movie, and all these things, then output dataset will have these followings. So let's do the same thing with our example. So right now what I have said, that data set, so let's say that I'll write keep. Okay, keep these three columns. Now let's see that what's gonna happen in our output data set. So I will write again proc print and then run. I'm not giving the name of data set. It will print the latest created data set for me. I've used keep. Now you can see that my data set have three variables. Okay, but before that, let me go to the log window so that it would be clear that it does have created. So now you can see that there were 912 observation rate from the dataset SAS help.or sales, and the dataset satya.subset4 has 912 observation and 3 variables. So you got to know that what exactly we did. We used keep and these three columns, right? Now I'll be doing the just opposite of this. I'll copy the same code, go below, and then I will write drop. Okay, so now it should behave just opposite of that, whatever we did right away, right? In this the example, we used keep and then product, quantity, and profit. Sorry, product group, quantity, and profit. So we got these three things into the resultant data set. But now I'm using drop. This means what I'm going to do is I will drop these three variables and I will get rest of the variables available in the OR sales data set present in SAS help library. So now you can see that I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 variables here, and each each of the variable which I mentioned in my code, that product group, quantity, and profit, those got dropped from the list. All right, so it would be very easy now that how to use them. Now before I move ahead, just let me tell you that right now the keep and drop statement which we have used them as a statement. There is one thing in SAS called options. I have not told you or describe that what an option is. When I'll be telling that what an option is, I'll tell you that how to use keep and drop with options, how to use them. Okay, so I'll be telling you that later. But right now that we have used keep and drop as a statement in SAS program. All right, so let's move to the next slide. Now type the following code and see how to keep and drop statements differ. So again, they have, used the same example which we have just done. So there is no need to do it again because we have already covered all these examples. So I'll be moving to the next slide now. That's assignment. It says create an input dataset called cards as a replica of SAS help.cards. Subset only those observations that have the make given by Audi, BMW, Chevrolet, Ford, Honda, Hyundai, Mercedes-Benz, Suzuki, Toyota, and Volvo. Within that, filter to keep only the vehicle drivetrain as front-wheel drive. Keep only these variables: make, model, type, engine. The end dataset must have 95 observation and 4 variables alone. So let us do it together so that you will understand that exactly what should we do and how we are going to do it in a SAS program. So we will have to write a big SAS program now. So in order to do that, let me just first of all check whether we have this data set in our that SAS help.cards or not. So I'll say data is equal to SAS help.cards, and I'll run this statement. It will tell me that whether I have this data set available or not, because it depends whether it depends on the time when you would be installing SAS into your system. So it is possible that you may not have this data set available on your system. All right, so I have just ran this and I have got the output on the output report viewer window. So it means I have this cards data set available in SAS help library. Now let's go to the problem. The problem is that to create an input data set, cards as a replica of SAS help.cards. So I'll be writing a data step first of all. I'll create that into Satya and I'll say cards. You can see that I already have a cards in Satya a library, but what I'm going to do is let me create a cards too. Okay, and then I'll give the set statement. It says that subset only those observation where make given by this. Okay, so first of all I need to write the same statement, which is set SAS help dot cards and run. So this is going to create me the exact replica of SAS help.cards data set into Satya library with cards2 name. But I don't have to do it. There is a proper condition. What I need to follow is that I need to create a subset of only those observations where make is given by these. Okay, so I will have to mention these things into a condition where make, and I guess you must have remembered it that we used in, that how to use it in. First thing is Audi, second thing is BMW, so BMW, third thing is Chevrolet, so it's gonna be Chevrolet, right? Then we have Ford, then we have Honda, Then we have Mercedes Benz. Then we have Suzuki. Then we have Toyota. And the last but not the least, we have Volvo. Okay, with this, what else they want? Within that filter to keep only the vehicle driven train as front wheel drive. Okay, with this, they want to keep only those vehicles where drivetrain as front wheel drive. So I will have to write next condition and drivetrain. I guess drivetrain is one of the variables here, is equal to front wheel drive. I will have to write this in exact case drive. Okay, now my statement ends here, but they still want something that to keep only these variables, make, model, type and engine size. So I will have to write the keep statement as well. Keep, I will have to give these variables like make space model space type space engine underscore size, and then I will terminate my statement. So I have put all the conditions here as they were required into the code. Now I will run this statement and let's see what happens. Oh, it ran and very fast. Okay, now as per the result, it says the end dataset must have 95 rows and 4 variables alone. 95 rows and 4 means 95 observation and 4 variables. So let me go to the log window first and then I will check that what happened here. It said that there was 0 observation rate from the dataset SAS help.cards where 0 oblique asterisk and obviously false were clause. Okay, so what it said that there was some problem with the with the code which I have written. Now what could be wrong with this? That I need to check. Okay. Okay, so the variable engine size in drop, keep or rename list was never been referenced. So engine size, there was a problem with engine size. What I have written here, engine size. Is the spelling correct? ENGINE underscore size. It says that something is wrong with this engine size. I will have to go back into the SAS help dataset or data, and I will have to check. Okay, engine size is not with underscore, it says. You can see that here. So I will have to change that into my code that it's not with underscore. So, see, these are the things which you need to be sure of. I have just deleted the underscore and now let's see that whether I'm able to run it. Again it gave me some error that there was 0 observation read from the dataset this. Okay. Now earlier it gave me warning that the variable engine size in this list have never been referenced. But this time it's telling me that the dataset Satya Car2 has 0 observation, but what is the reason? There was 0 observation read from the dataset. Okay, I might be doing something else wrong. So let's see what I'm doing wrong now. Okay, so front, drivetrain front. And what is the condition here? It says vehicles drivetrain as front wheel drive. Okay, so I have front, rear, all. So I guess this is exactly what I'm doing wrong. I need to select the front value only. Okay. And I don't think that there is anything else because I cannot find any other value into it apart from this all front and rear. So at the place of writing into my code, because it might be possible that SAS is not finding this complete value, front wheel drive. So I'll remove each and everything. I'll just keep front and let's see now what it gives. I've just ran it. Let's go back to log and it says that there were 76 observations read from the dataset SAS help.cards. The dataset Satya Car2 has 76 observation and 4 variables. This is exactly okay. Might be the data is different here, or it is also possible that the value which I have given for this Ford, Honda, Hyundai, Mercedes-Benz are not in the correct order. So that is also, I mean, one of the possibility that it did not show me all the fields. So you can see that I have Audi, I have Chevrolet, type sedan, SUV. I have not put any filter on type, but in order to see Chevrolet, Ford, Honda, Suzuki, Toyota, I don't have Mercedes-Benz here. Okay, so maybe that I'm missing the records for this Mercedes-Benz because maybe I have not put them in a correct order or the text might have been wrong. So see, you might see that what are challenges I'm facing right now. While working with the real data, you will also face such challenges or similar kind of challenges because until unless if you're not writing anything in a correct order or in a correct case in SAS in inverted codes, you're gonna get this error or the challenges with the data mining what you are doing. So in order to pull up the correct records or accurate data, you need to be sure that what you type in. All right. Now we have just done this example. We have just written similar kind of query. Now, what one changes you can see that I have written keep statement before the where condition, but in the given result they have used keep statement after the where condition. So it's up to you that where you want to write it. So that's all. Now let's move on to the next slide. Labels. All right. Labels. Before I tell you that what labels are, okay, let's go according to a slide and then automatically you will get to know that what labels are. Labels and formats. First of all, we'll discuss that what labels are. That when displaying reports, a label changes the appearance of variable name. Okay. While displaying reports, a label changes the appearance of a variable name. A format changes that the appearance of the variable value. Okay. Front end changes are visible to user and back end changes or values are stored without any formatting. Now, so see, before it can create any confusion, let me just stick to labels first. Labels are, you can say the name of variable for presentation purpose. They are not meant for, the data which is saved in data sets, but that is meant for presentation thing only. So it says that front end changes, that changes are visible to user, back end changes, that values are stored without any formatting. Now it's talking about the formatting basically. So in case of formatting, again, you do that formatting for presentation purpose. But in real sense, the data remains same in the backend. Now, This might be very confusing right now, but when you will start working on these, it would be very easier as we have done a lot of other options or functions. So label and formats are used for visual appearance as well as for understanding values the way they must be understood. Okay. Label and formats are used for visual appearance as well as for understanding values. Okay. Label and formats are stored in descriptor portion of dataset. So now one thing, if I ask you that what is the descriptor portion of a dataset, you should remember that I have keep telling you from the very first class that if I talk about SAS program, then it has two parts. One is SAS data part, and then we have proc part. And if I talk about SAS dataset, then again it has two parts. First one is descriptor portion and second is the data portion. All right. Now, if I ask you that how to check the descriptor portion of a dataset, so like before I go with the label and formats, let me show you that where you will get to know that what is the descriptor portion and how it is saved into the SAS environment. Okay, so let me tell you that these are the data sets which I have created. Now I just said that in each data set you have two portions. One is the data portion and another is descriptor portion. All right, data portion and then we have a descriptor. What I am going to do is I will ask you to use one proc. Okay, and that proc is proc. Just give me a moment, please. Okay, so we have proc contents. That is what we are going to use here. Okay, proc contents, then data, and then I will give the reference to my data, that is Satya dot, I will write subset 4. Let us say I have written subset 4 and then I will say run. Okay, so as soon as I will be running it, you will see in the output window that, just give me a moment please, I can see some disturbance here. So you can see that this is how we have shown the content or the descriptive portion of that data set which we which we were just looking for. Now let's talk about talk a bit about this descriptive portion, that what exactly it contains about the data set. I already have shown it into the previous or the first or the second class that what it all information provides when you use this proc contents. So it says the label, the contents procedure, then we have dataset name, right? In the first go it tells you the dataset name, then we have how many observations are there, member type data, variables, that there are 5 variables. Then we have engine. I told you that engine is nothing but by default this is the SAS engine, right? Then we have V9 which is default to SAS. Then we have indexes. There is no index on this database. Indexes are the same as we have indexes into the SQL Server table. Then it was created, I created this today only in this session, so that is why you can see the timing and the date here. The observation length was 72. Observation length means the length of a record, right? Then the last modified, that when it got modified, we have detailed observation, that's 0. Then protection or compressed, So we have got this information. Data is represented into the Windows 64 bit. Then data set page size, all the information which you can see here, and the file name where it is saved with the location. It is telling you each and everything, right? If I move ahead, then you can see that the variables, all list of all variables in the data set, that product category, product line, quarter, total retail price, and year. Then we have type of the variables, whether it is character type or the numeric field. If it is character, then definitely it will have a certain length. Otherwise, for numeric, we have by default uh, 8 character long length. Then the formats they have used, and we have labels here. So in this chapter, when I say that labels and formats, so this is exactly these two things which we are going to cover, whether it is format or label, right? So format, this is the format which says that the total retail price has been given 12.2 format and year has been given 4 dot format, but the label to each variable which they have given. So product category, that variable name is product underscore category, but they are giving it as product category. For product line, they have given, sorry, the product underscore line, they have given product line. Quarter, they have quarter. Then total underscore retail underscore price, they have given total retail price in USD. And then the last year is as year. So we are really going to talk about this label thing right now. So now label statement, that how you give the label. Okay. So there is another way by which we can see these labels. Let me, this is the SAS subset 4. I have just double click on the data set, and as soon as it open, you can see that it is product line here. But if I double click on it, you will get another small window, and you can see here what it tells. It says the name product underscore line and label is product line, length 20, format $20, $20 in formats. Okay, so what are the in format and formats we'll be talking in detail, but right now I'm more concerned about label, that what the label this column carries. It does not have any color, it does not have any font, sorry, the system font it has by default, right? But you can give a specific color to your columns as well if you really want to make or beautify your data set. But right now I'm talking about general and the labels. So this is the one place from where you can apply your labels, or you can give the labels to the system to any variables. But this is the really way how you can check what is the name and what is the label applied to your data set. Now, I was talking about the syntax, right? So I need to go back to the slide, and here you can see that the label statement that says label, then variable 1 is equal to label, then variable 2 is equal to label 2, then variable n is equal to label n. Okay, so no worries, you just need, it's very simple to apply a label to your variable. But the rules, what are the rules which you need to keep in mind while giving a label? So it says that the label can have as many as 256 characters, but it cannot be more than 256 characters. Then we have that any number of variables can be associated with the labels in a single label statement. Any number of variables can be associated with the labels in a single label statement. That means if you have n number of variables in a data set, so in that statement or in a single statement, you can apply label for each and every variable. Now, using label statement in data step permanently associates label within variable by sorting the label in the descriptor portion of SAS dataset. Storing, not sorting. So what it means? Okay, I'll tell you that how to use these labels in two different ways, and then it would be pretty easier, and it would be easy to understand or to remember how to use these labels for you. Okay, so if you are using label statement in the proc part of the program, So that is only for the presentation purpose. You can, you can print the data with the labels. But if you have used labels into the data portion of your not exactly the data portion, I would say data portion of data part of your process program, so that is gonna create permanent labels and that will be stored into the data set with the data set. So let us suppose for our next example labels, we will use the following code to create a data set called World Cup, data taken from the World Cup cricket as of 2011. Oh, very good. So let's say I am going to copy this data from the slide. Okay. Let me take this data here. And first of all, as a first step, I'm going to create the data set called World Cup. And let me save it into Satya library. Okay. We have input columns called year. Then we have variable, runner up and venue. Then data lines, and we have given the values against each variable. So now the World Cup got created. I've just double clicked on this. You can see that year is year, its name is year, but there is no label. If I click on winner, you will find that it is winner, but there is no label. Same goes with runner. There is runner underscore up, but there is no label. So right now, no labels have been assigned to this data set. So what I'll do, I'll close this data set from here. I'll go back to my code window. And then let's see that how they are going to create labels. So when data set is created, we can get the following as I have already shown it to you. Now, while quite understandable, we will now try to make the data set more descriptive by adding some labels. Check the following code. Okay. So what exactly I'm going to do is to make it easier, let's see the first slide where we were talking about the statement, that how to write the statement for label. You remember this? It says that label, then variable 1, label 1, variable 2, label 2, variable n and label n, and then end your statement. Similarly, I'm going to, first of all, I'll print it. Okay. So I'm gonna show you that how to print labels. So for that, I will say proc print data. Data is equal to satya dot word underscore cup, word cup, and here I will say label, and then it says that your variable name, label name. Okay, so I will give label. I have just started label statement. So for winners, this is the variable name, and label I will give winner of World Cup 2011. This is the first label which I have given. Let's say to runner up, I'll give a label called runner up of World Cup 2011. And then I'll, for third variable, I'll give a label that venue or place, PLACE, where World Cup happened, right? I have given labels for these three columns. Happened, not happened. Okay, double P. And then I'll run my statement by saying run, and like this. If I run this, let's see what happens. Either I will get some error, or I will get the data. So now you can see that I have printed the data set, but you might see that I haven't got labels here. Okay, I haven't got labels. I still have, the same data set or the headers, whether it is year, winner, runner-up, or venue. So what I'm missing, that you can check, that we need to, okay, let's see that what I'm going to do, or what we need to do is, I have given the labels, but it's not printing for you. So in order to print that, let's see proc print data, and I will mention here label. Okay, now you can see that I have got labels. So it says year, winner of WC 2011, then runner of 2011, then place where WC happened. So you can see that now we have got the labels. But if I still go back and check into the data set, you will see the old labels as it is, right? Venue, runner up, winner, and year. So the label which we have used, or I have just used, are only for the presentation purpose. We have not, saved them permanently with the data set. If you want to save them with the data set, then what you really need to do is, you need to follow the steps what they have followed here in this example. What? While creation of the data set, they have mentioned labels. Okay. So now for you, what I'm going to do is, I will say, let's say setup, not setup, basically I have, written all these things. At the place of proc print, I will say data. This is my input data set. And now I will say Satya dot World Cup set. Okay. So everything looks good to me. And I'm going to run this statement. So let's see what happens. Okay, I have got an error. It says statement is not valid, or it is used out of proper order. So the error is, okay, I got it, what the error I have done. Data statement does not contain equal to sign. Now I'll run it again. I'll go back to log. You can say, okay, I've just ran this, and now it says set satya.wc underscore set file. Okay. You might wonder that what blunder I have done. This is, okay. So you must remember the first time when I told you that how to use set statement, and I told that if you will do anything wrong with this, your data set gonna crash. And I guess the same thing happened with me right now. This is the World Cup data set. If I open it, you will not get anything here. Oh, we are saved. Nothing happened to my data set. So basically here, this has to be the output data set, and this has to be the input data set. So now I need to interchange them. I'll say WC and underscore set. Okay, let's run it again and let's see that what happens. I've got WC data set here, and if I double click on it, you can see that my labels are saved with the data set. If I double click, you can see that this is the label and this is the name, right? So I have created labels for each variable here, which you can see by double clicking on it. Okay, now it is just I have shown the labels here to you in front of in the data set. But what if you want to print them? So if I use proc print proc print, and then if I use run statement, so what I am going to get is here. I haven't got those labels, right? It gave me the actual variable name. But if you really want to see the headers in it, what you need to do in that situation is you need to mention the data, that what your data is. So I will say data.wc, that was word cup, and then I will have to mention here label. And now if I run it, what happened? I haven't got anything. At my, it said okay, satya.wc data does not exist. Okay, label, it says that the file does not exist. So it means when I created this, it would not have been created. Okay, it says satya.wc does not exist. That the full name is underscore set. That I need to write. I have just ran that, and now you can see that I have got labels here. Sorry for that confusion, but now we have the labels here in the data set. So we have seen, if I talk about the labels first, okay, there is an assignment which you will be doing, and then we'll talk about format. But before that, labels are for the presentation purpose. Okay, now there are two things. That one is that you can show the labels into the output window only, that is for the presentation purpose, and in that situation you are not saving them into the with the data. And other case is that you can save the labels with the data set, that I'll show you in a minute that how to see them in a proc contents. So if you are using these labels with the proc print statement only, then you are using them for the presentation and they will not be saved into the data set. But if you are using labels with the data set, so they are going to be saved into the data set with the data. So you need to be sure that what exactly you want and how you want to save them. I have shown you the manual way as well, saving the labels, and this is how you can make your column name more significant for the user. Now, to view those data labels which we just have created, so in order to see them, I will write a proc again, proc contents, then data is equal to satya dot wordcup underscore set, and then run. So as soon as you will run this statement, you will see the output window, and you will see here your actual observation data set when they got created or when that got created. And these are the variables which we have been using, like runner up, venue, winter and year. And these are the labels that runner up of WC 2011, place where WC happened, and then winner of WC 2011. So by doing so, we have created labels with the data set and for the presentation purpose as well. So we can have more discussion about around the labels in our next class. But right now it's more than enough for you to understand that how to use these labels and the use of keep and drop. So these were the very important topics of SAS, I would say, while you are uh, creating subsets or data sets, or you are working with a data set or reading data set. So this is as far as user or as far as the end users, it's very helpful to create labels. And how to format your data, that I'll be talking with you in our next class. Till then, if you have any question, please let me know, or feel free to ask me or email me anytime, or just in telepath know, or otherwise things are good. Keep practicing to learn more. Thank you so much. Thanks for attending this session. That's all.